Another CNN panel for us to look at today, this time covering the chaos behind the scenes and trying to get Trump's nominations confirmed, namely Pete Hegseth. So let's jump in and see what we'll add to the conversation as far as context and fact checks.
Two Republican senators, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, they're now coming out against Pete Hegseth just a day before the Senate plans to vote on his fate. Team Trump can only lose two more Republicans or his confirmation fails. Now, this comes as we learn that a former Fox host paid a woman $50,000 for an NDA after she accused him of sexual assault. He denies those claims. But it's for those reasons, along with his inexperience, that Murkowski says he lacks the strength of character to serve in this role. It is maybe a little bit surprising that more people did not come to the same conclusion because it's just hit after hit after hit in his background. His ex-wife came forward, according to our sources, to the FBI and told them he drinks more often than he doesn't. Are you surprised that more Republicans haven't said, hey, hold on a second, maybe we need to rethink this one?
It's really funny to me what MAGA priorities are. When Biden picks a cabinet, they're instantly raging at the mere nominations that are trans, that are gay, or because he appointed X number of black people, where even before they get confirmed, right? Again, there's these outcries of DEI hires, them being unqualified, all of this. Yet they then have no concerns with the guy who is nominated with sexual assault allegations and alcohol issues, who will be overseeing the Defense Department at that. Like, one of the largest parts of our budget, our military, our national defense. I mean, even voters are like either completely supporting him because like they're completely in the cold, or at worst they're like, well, we have to see, we'll base it on the results, like kind of like not wanting to say and beat around the bush yet again. Let it be like a trans person that Biden nominated or a black hire, and these people never get the same credence. It's never like, well, let's see what the results are. It's, well, they're not qualified and we have to go off merit. I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of weird, right?
He will be confirmed. He will be head of the Pentagon. But it certainly has been a very, very rocky road for him. Obviously, if he loses one more vote, we have J.D. Vance comes in and breaks the tie if that were to happen. But my prediction is that he's going to sail through, and that'll be it.
Yeah, and I think that she's probably right. Like, I don't think that there's any indication that anybody else is thinking about not voting for him. And
and let me just point out the hypocrisy here, because I actually got the only two federal, Gretchen Carlson and I got the only two federal pieces of Me Too legislation through the Senate and the House. And every single one of those, one had to do with NDAs. And every single one of those senators who voted for him today, every single one, all said that they supported a ban on pre-dispute NDAs for sexual misconduct. And every single one gave these great speeches about how NDAs have no place when it comes to sexual misconduct, and we're living in a whole new world now. Women need to be believed. And it was a beautiful moment. And then they turn around and do this.
Because at the end of the day, MAGA will always protect their own over all else, mostly so they can keep being relevant in the discourse, where the way they are irrelevant is to pretend that Democrats are evil, to attack them, to point the fingers at the left, that they're the evil, snobby, whatever party. And it coming out that the GOP is full of rapists wouldn't be a good look to them having that moral high ground that they like to pretend that they have. Now, despite the fact that at this point, I think that they could. And I don't think it would still dissuade MAGA from supporting them. Their voters at this point are so personally connected to it. It's a cult. Like, they just don't care about Matt Gaetz. They don't care about Donald Trump. They don't care about Pete Hegseth. Like, to them, sexually assault just literally isn't that big of a deal, which is really scary to say out loud and realize, right? But truthfully, NDAs don't have a place in sexual assault. Like, why do we allow this? They should never be binding. It shouldn't be something that can be upheld. Like, and I don't know how people use this as an argument against allegations either. Like, you still paid them. I would never pay someone who accused me of sexual assault if I didn't do it, right? So you just saying, well, they made an allegation against me and then I paid them and they took the money, so that means I didn't do it. No, it doesn't.
It does mean something, right? Because these people did stand up with tears in their eyes. We have to believe all women, and we have the NDAs of no place. And look what happened. Look what happened the minute Donald Trump told them to bend the knee.
Any lawyer or judge, whoever says we have to believe all fill in the blank, is not doing their job, right? You can't say, I believe all
Are you saying this woman's a liar?
bald men. What woman? We're not talking about any woman.
Well,
we're not talking about
anyone.
any. You can't. Every lawyer who's ever said you have to believe all fill in the blank. That's against our principles of justice. The foundation of our government. The foundation is there's a trial. Jurors, 12 people or 6 people, listen to both sides, and they decide whether they believe someone or they don't believe somebody.
Somebody who signed an NDA in exchange for a settlement, you're saying is a liar because a jury never deemed it.
I never said anything.
So what are you buying?
I'm saying you can't have a person who, a lay person can say anything they want, but a lawyer or a judge can't say believe all, fill in the blank, dogs, horses, whatever you want to say.
Okay, let's clarify this right now, right here, because MAGA often does this. Believe all women means trust and then verify. It doesn't mean if a woman says it, it goes, and let's just believe them over all else despite all evidence. It means that those making claims of being sexually assaulted shouldn't be met with instant disbelief or doubt. I know, crazy idea here. This is a large reason why a good amount of sexual assaults go unreported, or why people take forever in coming out with their stories, is the fear of that exact thing happening. So you trust, and then you move to verify. If someone comes in with all the leverage, all the money, all the power, and offers a person making this claim an NDA to where they then can never go through the legal process, they're moving the onus from that person onto themselves to prove their innocence then, as they're the one who are preventing this verify step. So then justify why you're doing that, right? Justify. And if your reasoning is just, well, there's an NDA, so we'll never know. Or, well, she accepted the NDA. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. That's not an explanation, or it doesn't prove your innocence. It doesn't absolve you of what you're doing. And what this dude is saying is pretty insane also. A jury isn't a determining factor on if you did something or not. I mean, ask him if Trump raped E. Jean Carroll or if Trump falsified business records. I bet he would go into a whole rant about the jury then. Now, don't mistake what I'm saying here. If a jury says or finds that a person didn't rape someone, then yes, you should not call that person a rapist. But stating that someone is lying because they didn't get to court, especially when someone is using their money or status to prevent that through forcing them into an NDA, I mean, it's just insane. And this is something I've realized, and it pertains mostly to straight white men, but other men can fit into this as well. But they have an issue admitting that they're the beneficiary of any power imbalance or structure. Like, they just want to pretend that they don't exist. Instead, maybe it's something with ego or not wanting to feel like they've gotten a step ahead or any boost or whatever. This happens with racism, where they pretend like they aren't the beneficiary of the power imbalances it creates, especially structurally with how it's built in our society. And they do it with misogyny and also with money, like class too. But like here, where men will pretend they can't understand why a woman might fear coming out with her story of being assaulted, especially against a man with status and money. Despite a lot of those same men will like destroy E. Jean Carroll and defame her of her character, and she gets harassed in public because she came out with her story. Not only did she come out with her story, but she came out with a claim, this allegation, and then went to court with it. And it was found in court that she was raped. So she did everything these guys say that they want you to do. But now it changes to, well, she didn't do it fast enough. Well, she waited too long. And, oh, well, it was Donald Trump and he has money and that's the only reason she did it. And that's exactly where, when you're getting at, you have to understand why women would fear this. Because no matter how they do it, there's always something, right? It's, oh, well, you didn't go to court, so you're lying. You went to court, right? Oh, well, you only went because you wanted money. You only did it because he's famous, right? It's all of these things. And they just pretend why they don't understand. Then why, instead of going through that, a victim might just take money from their abuser to stay quiet. And I think that might be one of the things that's most frustrating to me on a like sociological level. Like, can we stop pretending that power imbalances don't exist just because you're the one who benefits from them? Like, I'm sorry if that hurts your ego.